So once again, a very good evening, guys. We'll start out with a panel discussion with the elite guest today. So without further ado, my first question is an open question to all the panelists. Uh, for someone who graduated few years ago, few still working in US, how do you think has the job market changed in the last 2 to 3 years? Uh, Primarily, how do you think recruitment and hiring is changing? Uh, any tips for the prospective students sitting in front of us?
I think I'll just give you like a very honest opinion here. When it comes to for someone who is just joining straight out of college, yes, you have to do more, but it's also one of the best opportunities of your life to grow as a person, not just career wise, but as an entire human being. I think the US has so much to offer, not just in terms of the opportunities, but also if you are somebody who is just starting out in the field of tech or any field that you are in today, there's a lot of room for you to grow in terms of technical depth, in terms of visibility, and all of those things. Speaking specifically about the job market, if you need to stand out, there is something extra that you need to have, and you need to build your application and your personal brand in a way that you stand out more than the rest of the crowd. But I think that is also possible for every one of you sitting in this room today because everyone has a story to tell. And I'll be touching on that a little bit after the panel discussion as well. So we'll look into that in greater detail.
I have been very out of the job market because I quit my job 4 years ago. So I'm probably not the best person to answer this. But like Ruchi said, oh man, I feel like nothing great in life comes without an incredible amount of hard work and giving up a part of yourself. And I think getting a job in the US was definitely one of the hardest things I did 8 years ago. Um, but at the same time, it made me a better person, more resilient person. Rejections don't really get to me anymore like it used to back then. So I think the only thing I want to say is if you prepare from day one, even before you leave India, if you start to reach out to people like us, if you start to attend events in person the moment you land in the new city, and if you also, I don't know, learn to become more charming as a person, and I've realized that really matters
Yep.
because there's too many people looking for the same job that you have to stand out in some way.
Yep.
I think if you do all this, it's almost inevitable that you'll get a job eventually, or you'll make a job. Maybe you'll build your own company. But nothing great comes without an amount of hard work.
I joke about that a lot. The job market was so hard that I started my own company. But in all honesty, there's no place like the US because it attracts people from every corner of the world. Go to a city like New York, like San Francisco, you're going to come across probably 50 people from 50 different countries with 50 different ideas and upbringings, that every person you meet has a treasure chest of life experiences that you wouldn't find elsewhere. So, like Soundarya said, your ability to connect with people and provide value will help you distinguish yourself from others. And it's not hard to stand out, I'll tell you that. There are 330 million people in the US, 19 million students, 1.2 million international students. For you to be sitting in this room listening to wonderful international students who managed to stand out, I can tell you firsthand, all you need to do every time you interact with someone is leave them better off than you found them, and you will get to wherever you want to go. Whatever company that is, whatever job you're seeking out, whatever dream you're chasing, you will get there as long as you leave every person you meet better off than you found them.
So, guys, three things that stood out to me: stay resilient, network, and be more charming. So, Soundarya, this is for you. When you went to USA years ago, my favorite person, Mr. Trump,
Of course.
was having his first run at the office.
Yes.
And the sentiment was that USA is not the right place to go, right? Now we are back. This is his second run as the president, and the narrative hasn't changed a lot. Anything you want to talk about this perception that students have, and do you think there is a big difference from then and today?
Hopefully, it's the last run, first of all, unless he doesn't change the laws for a third term. I will tell you, the very first time I went, it was 2016 when Trump became president, November 9th, 2016. I was at NIT Trichy writing the practical exam for something back then. I don't even remember. But I didn't care about the exam because this is what I was doing the entire time, like refreshing the election results to see, did he become president? Did he become president? Please don't become president. Please don't become president. Alas, he became president. And the first thing I did was run to the computer center and search on Quora, because back then Quora was a big thing. Search that, will Trump take away F1 student visas now that he is president? And there was some scary stuff there. People kept saying, oh, he's going to remove F1, he's going to remove OPT, he's going to take away H1B. None of that happened in the end. I did go to the US, I got an F1, OPT, H1B, all of it happened. So I think what I wouldn't worry about is, you don't have to worry about your student visa being taken away, meaning F1 as a visa removed from the Constitution, or H1B removed from Constitution. Those are not the things you should worry about. But this whole year, because I keep track of the news, unfortunately, I have seen some things that were unprecedented before. They did take away F1 visas of several thousand students. They revoked it based on sometimes minor issues like a parking ticket. I know personally a few people who got a DUI charge, which is driving under influence, even though they did not do that. And we have seen a lot of talks around OPT being removed. But what I will say is, you don't have to worry about the big stuff. It's the really small things that's becoming harder. For example, even though the $100,000 H-1B fee is not going to impact you, it will not impact you if you move to the US on an F1 visa, because they introduced that. Now employers are more wary of hiring people in general. So I think they've just, well, a friend of mine told me this about Trump, that he says so much crazy stuff that you don't know what to believe and not anymore. And that's how you create this entire climate, a weather of uncertainty, where anything can happen. So once again, I'll say, don't worry about the big stuff like a visa being taken away or that you won't be able to go into the country. It's the fact that they're introducing things that may not even come to fruition, but it still makes people scared of hiring someone on a visa. That's what's happening that I'm seeing.
Yep. So, my next question, actually, in the same line, is to you, Krish and Ruchi. Because of all these things that Soundarya was just talking about, a lot of students plan to come back to India because of various reasons, as Soundarya has rightly noted. What will be your advice for them?
I think to come back to India is the plan for a lot of people in the long run. So I don't necessarily see it as a bad thing. It's just, I always tell people, if you are trying to decide whether it's time to go back home, that is a very personal decision. And I don't try to give generic advice that, oh, you have to be here. Sometimes there are extenuating factors as well. But if you have the right skill set, where you are in the world doesn't matter. The US has those opportunities, and anything that you do there can be amplified in terms of energy, in terms of time, and even money for that matter. You can do those same things here, so it's not a terrible option Z coming your way.
Have you guys heard of the concept of signal versus noise? Anyone? Hands up? Okay, one back there. I see a few nods over here. For those of you that don't know what that is, 99% of media is noise. 1% is signal. Signal is like when you're in a crowded market and you hear bangs and honks and people bargaining and someone calls your name and you turn around. That is signal. Where I'm going with this is very simple. In the US, if you do certain things correctly, like Soundarya said, there's nothing big to worry about per se. If there's one thing we know for sure, it's taco. Trump always chickens out. He'll do something, he'll do something else, and then he'll undo the first thing, then he'll do a third thing and undo the second thing. So nothing really. Point being, when you really focus on what it is you're looking for, whether that is the job over there, you're going to get the job over there. You stay at it, might take a month, might take a few weeks, might take a year, might take a year and a half. Persist and you will succeed. On the other hand, for those of you looking to come back, there is not a single country in the world like India today. India today is on a rise. I was in Chicago and Atlanta last week with universities from the US who want to come to India, to Dubai, to Malaysia, to Singapore, because they're like, even we don't like Trump anymore. Obviously, he took away that funding. But point being, the world is shrinking. The opportunities you have over there are plenty, no doubt, a step above what we have here today. But if you're one of those people who say, okay, I'm going to go there, give it my all, try, I would urge you to refrain from thinking that coming back is a cop out or a safety net or something that's considered a failure. When you come back with that global experience, having met so many people from different parts of the world, whatever you choose to do here, whether you do it yourself or for an Indian company, like I said, India's on the rise, so you will be valued more. That's what I have to say.
Yep, valid point. Ruchi, the next question is on you because you come from the AWS background. On one hand, we see a sudden interest in AI and ML, the technologies of the future, as they say. On the other hand, we say AI and ML is taking away the jobs, right? Now, this is something which is very confusing. How does a student choose a career this stage that can be foolproof at least for a few years, foreseeable future?
I really don't think it's going to take away jobs the way people say it will. It is automating the boring pieces that are also boring for us to do in our day to days. If somebody wants to continue to hold on to the job that they have or will have in the future, creativity is your leverage. You need to make sure that you become irreplaceable because of the person you are, because of what you bring to the table outside of what everyone can offer. And I think that would be a differentiating factor in the sense that, to give an example, if you are maybe like in my case, I'm in the product marketing field. And what's critical for us to have is storytelling, the creativity aspect of it. What is something special that you bring to the table? So that is something AI will not be able to replicate for a long, long time. In a different field, that might be maybe in software engineering, it's how you optimize to an extent. That is something that people put their brain into, and that comes from years of experience. It is not something that is just fed into a system and you expect it to be right. So just holding on to that deep research level insights that you have and making sure you continue to dive deep and excel at the field that you do, that would be my
Yep, makes absolute sense. Uh, Krish, you were what, 21 when you started your first venture? Yeah. Uh, for somebody who went to US to study, uh, jumped into entrepreneurship like when he just passed out of the school, uh, what is your advice for the students who are looking at business and entrepreneurship as a domain? And do you think the US ecosystem played a role in enabling you in your pursuit?
Without a doubt, I would say, okay, first thing to clear, you can own and build a company as an international student. You can start a company as an international student. It is very much possible, and there are a lot of people who do it. So that is another career prospect. You have an idea, you don't need to hold yourself back and say, no, I need a job, I'm an immigrant, I can't do this. That's not true at all. You very much can. We can get into detail about that. But to your question, H3, I think no doubt the amount of capital flowing through the US economy and their risk-taking ability to take hits or punts on world-changing ideas is what has got them to where they are today. Look at all of big tech. Look at any company that has really defined what tech looks like today. It's sparked over there because some wealthy people decided to say, okay, this is a crazy idea, but if it comes true, we're all going to be better for it. And over time, that if changed into when. So today, when a founder builds something, they're not like confused about the probability of it happening. They're confused about the timeline which it'll take for that future to come to existence. So if you're thinking of building something, there are definitely places in the US, New York, SF specifically, Texas, Austin, that I would highly recommend visiting even if you choose not to study there. Reason being, the amount of capital that flows through there, it's very easy to convince someone with billions of dollars to give you 50,000 to start something. It's very easy to find your early customers in a market where everyone is looking for innovation. So without a doubt, 100% the US is a place to build something.
I think this will give a lot of motivation to many of you who will be thinking of starting something of their own once they are through with their studies.
And if you don't mind, can I
Yeah.
just ask
Oh,
something?
please.
Folks, how many of you want to build something? Want to be a founder or an entrepreneur someday? Raise your hand high and proud. Okay, I'm just curious how many people. About 10%, maybe 15% of you. That's amazing. Please come talk to us later, especially the ones who raise their hand.
Okay, so this is the last round before we open the questions from the audience. It will be a rapid fire. So quick answers from all three of you. Your best moment in US.
Snow, first time snow comes up there.
Okay, Krish. This was the rapid fire.
Oh, I don't know. The first time I landed in New York, the energy that hits you is just like slap in the face in the best way possible.
Okay. How about you?
Yeah, my first day in New York. So, unlike Soundarya, I don't have the habit of journaling, but that was the only time in my life I've actually written 2 or 3 pages of how I was feeling. And shortly after that, I moved to New York and stayed there for about a year. And I still keep like thinking about how I want to go back one day. I recently moved to the South Bay right now.
Awesome. Okay. Skills matter more or the university you go to?
Skills.
Skills.
Okay. How many of you were interested in one particular university? I think this answers it. Okay. Location of your college plays any role in the jobs you apply to? Yes or no?
Definitely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. Those who thought that the colleges do not matter at all, this was the question to confuse you. Okay. Your biggest achievement in the US?
Starting Rome for sure.
Okay.
Publishing 2 books.
Awesome.
I think starting my content creation journey.
That's good. What is my biggest achievement till today? Sitting with these three guys, probably. Yeah. So I'll put that as one of those. Okay, guys. With this, thank you so much.